Welcome back, everybody, to another edition of Tailgate Talk here at sunjournal.com. There's Cal Yokes. Standing in for our buddy, Mr. Randy Whitehouse, today is number 55 tackling dummy. We'll call him Fisher, because that's what she says on him. Justin Pelletier. We're here to break down to you the Class C matchups this week. Class C involving, of course, Lisbon High School. And what more can we say about Lisbon High School other than they're Lisbon? They've always find a way to be very competitive, and they found a way again this year with injuries giving them problems, with ineligibility giving them problems, with everything else. They've found a way that here they are back in the finals again.
With a couple of 125-pound tailbacks playing, most of the way in the playoffs. The unfortunate passing of Joe Woodhead recently gave me a chance to kind of research the Lisbon football history again, and it's kind of like left field was for the Red Sox when you had Williams, Yastrzemski, and Rice. They've had two football coaches in the last 50 years, and Moynihan has been there for the last quarter century, the second half of that. They've just consistently, you can count the number of losing seasons he's had on less than one hand. They just reload and they do what they do. He takes the kids that he's given in August, in October, sometimes a different group than he's given in August, and they circle the wagons, as Chris Berman likes to say, and they do it.
Yeah, and they have, again, this year, it hasn't been easy for them. Yarmouth has been kind of rolling along. They're playing a Yarmouth team. That great stat that you brought out, they were 1-18 to begin their tenure in Class C, and they're 18-1 since, or something to that effect.
It was
an absolute flip-flop for Yarmouth, and they've been beating everybody soundly. Lisbon has had to scratch and claw their way through it. That's probably going to help them out in a game where they had to do the same against Yarmouth and came out on the losing end the first time.
Lisbon has faced a Winthrop team that gave them problems for a couple of years and beat them twice, both on the last game of the regular season and last week in overtime in the playoffs. And you've kind of got a similar situation with Yarmouth. Yarmouth beat them handily at a game I believe you were at last year in the regular season. That was kind of Yarmouth's coming out party in Class C, and we're here and we're here to stay. This year it was a lot closer game on Lisbon's home field. It was settled by a field goal by Bryce Snyder with 19 seconds left, 16-14 Yarmouth. And that kind of determined home field for the playoffs. And this game will be on the turf in Yarmouth, which is...
That's going to make a difference.
It's definitely a big factor for them. I mean, Lisbon will probably practice on it once this week, whether it's at NYA or Bates or Scarborough or wherever. They'll buy some practice time or borrow some practice time. But certainly Yarmouth has the athletes with the wing tee that it runs, and just some quick guys. They have balance with Proscia, with Pingiatori in the backfield, and Overhaug. He's been a key at wing back. They've just got a lot of guys that can get it done. Now Lisbon probably going to have to be a lot more conservative, try to convert a lot of third downs, try to kind of grind out the clock, dominate time of possession. They do have some guys that can do that left in the backfield. They have Josh Pomerleau, they have Mike McNamara. The freshman Jordan Torres, one of those little guys that I talked about, he's going to be a factor. He has been the first 2 weeks in the playoffs. The key is going to be defense and special teams. Lisbon always seems to block a punt, always seems to return an interception and give itself a short field, recover a fumble. They've got to do that at least once, probably twice, to win this game.
On the other side, in Eastern Class C, real quick, Cal, we've got Stearns, gone through the season pretty much undefeated up that way. John Bapst last week kind of coming through the fold there and eked out a close one. They had 3 backs go over 100 yards last week. Stearns a little bit tougher on the defensive side than what John Bapst saw last week, but still, I mean, this is going to be an interesting one. This is kind of Lisbon versus Yarmouth in reverse. You get they're going to Stearns as opposed to going to John Bapst.
You get the team that's been playing the best all year versus a team that has certainly peaked at the right time, that's been there 4 years in a row in John Bapst. This is their 4th straight regional final. Dan O'Connell, the Bates grad, is the head coach there, just done a phenomenal job. And they have a quarterback that can throw in Jordan Charpentier. He can get the job done through the air, so they've got a little bit of balance. Stearns, very much like Yarmouth, likes to grind it out and dominate the time of possession, get 3 guys over 100 yards, as you mentioned, or even 50 or 60 yards, and nickel and dime, and score a couple of touchdowns early and protect the lead. Their defense has done the job. They've been undefeated. Big comeback year for Stearns. They were power in the 90s, not so much lately, but good year for the Minutemen.
Thank you very much, Cal. Thanks to our trusty friend here. We hope Randy's back with us here again next week when we break down the state championships, but our buddy did a good job filling in. For Cal Yokes, again, for Randy Whitehouse, who wasn't able to be here, Justin Pelletier saying so long, and we'll see you this weekend.